Good morning. Today we are discussing hemoptysis, a clinical sign that ranges from a minor nuisance to a terrifying, life-threatening emergency. In the clinical setting, hemoptysis is defined as the expectoration of blood originating from the respiratory tract below the level of the vocal cords. It is vital that we move away from the traditional obsession with measuring the volume of blood in a measuring cup. While older textbooks use thresholds like 600 milliliters in 24 hours to define massive hemoptysis, these numbers are practically useless at the bedside. Instead, we must focus on a functional definition. Life-threatening hemoptysis is any amount of blood that results in airway obstruction, impaired gas exchange, or hemodynamic instability. Remember, the human airway only holds about 150 milliliters of volume. A patient does not bleed to death from hemoptysis. They drown in their own blood. When we look at the epidemiology, the cause of hemoptysis varies significantly based on where you practice. Globally, infectious diseases, particularly tuberculosis, remain the dominant players. In developed nations, we see a shift toward chronic inflammatory conditions and malignancy. Acute bronchitis is perhaps the most common cause of mild hemoptysis, while bronchiectasis and lung cancer are the usual suspects in more severe cases. It is also important to note the category of cryptogenic hemoptysis. Even with our best imaging and endoscopic tools, we fail to find a definitive source in nearly 20 to 30% of patients. These cases often have a favorable prognosis, but they require diligent follow-up to ensure an occult malignancy was not missed. To understand why hemoptysis becomes massive, we must look at the dual blood supply of the lungs. The pulmonary arteries carry deoxygenated blood at low pressures for gas exchange. In contrast, the bronchial arteries arise from the aorta and carry oxygenated blood at systemic pressures to nourish the airway tissues. Because the bronchial arteries are under high pressure, they are responsible for approximately 90% of massive hemorrhage cases. Chronic inflammation, such as that seen in cystic fibrosis or old tuberculosis, causes these bronchial vessels to hypertrophy and become fragile, leading to significant rupture. Consider a 65-year-old male with a 40-pack-year smoking history and known chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He presents to the emergency department after coughing up approximately half a cup of bright red blood. On exam, he is tachypneic with an oxygen saturation of 88% on room air. Coarse rhonchi are heard over the right base. In this scenario, the priority is not the diagnosis, but the airway. We must assume the right lung is the source. We position him in the right lateral decubitus position, bleeding side down, to protect the left lung. We provide high-flow oxygen and prepare for a controlled intubation using a large diameter tube. Once stable, a CT angiogram would be the next logical step to identify the bleeding vessel. The presentation of hemoptysis is often accompanied by a gurgling sensation in the chest and the urge to cough. Physical exam signs can be subtle. You may observe tachycardia or tachypnea. Auscultation might reveal localized wheezing or crackles over the affected lobe. Always check the oropharynx and the nose to rule out pseudohemoptysis, and ask about coffee ground emesis or melena to rule out a gastrointestinal source. Our diagnostic toolkit starts with the chest X-ray, but we must acknowledge its limitations. It can be normal in up to 1/3 of patients with significant bleeding. Multi-detector CT angiography has revolutionized our approach. It not only identifies the underlying cause, such as a tumor or cavity, but it also maps the bronchial arteries, acting as a roadmap for the interventional radiologist. Bronchoscopy remains essential, particularly when the CT is non-localized, as it allows for direct visualization and immediate, albeit often temporary therapeutic maneuvers. Management is a multidisciplinary effort involving pulmonology, radiology, and surgery. For life-threatening cases, bronchial artery embolization, or BAE, is our first-line definitive therapy. It has a high immediate success rate, often stopping the bleed in over 90% of cases. However, we must warn patients that recurrence is possible, especially if the underlying inflammatory disease, like an aspergilloma, is not treated. Surgery is now largely a secondary option. While a lobectomy can provide a definitive cure, performing thoracic surgery on an unstable patient who is actively bleeding carries a mortality rate as high as 30 to 40%. Our goal is always to cool down the situation with embolization first, turning an emergency surgery into an elective one. The prognosis for mild hemoptysis is generally excellent. For life-threatening episodes, the prognosis depends heavily on the underlying cause. Patients with lung cancer or fungal balls have a much higher risk of rebleeding compared to those with acute infections. In conclusion, hemoptysis is a high-stakes clinical scenario that demands rapid assessment and a clear hierarchy of action. Focus on the airway, localize the source with CT, and utilize interventional radiology early. Through a coordinated team approach, we can significantly reduce the mortality of this challenging condition. Thank you for your attention. Please let me know if you have any questions.